Thank you.
Since that time, I've developed a record in industry for myself. I'd like to know what your record is since you left the Marines, and I'd like to know how you have supported yourself in these last few years. We don't know anything about you, and I would like to know those answers, plus what makes you qualified to run for this office.
Thank you for asking. That's a wonderful question. First, let me say, Jill, will you please put your hand up? That beautiful woman who's sitting right in front of you, she's a high-powered executive, and I'm honored to be married to her. And I don't think that there's anything untoward about a beautiful wife that can take care of some children and work very hard to make sure that my run for the U.S. Congress can be handled, because she's at home bringing home the bacon and I'm out here asking for your vote, because the bottom line is fighting for our country right now has become a full-time job for me. Before that, I was a graduate fellow at a graduate program in Washington, D.C., studying national security policy and statecraft, where I was being paid not only to study, but working on a second book. You might know that I've been an author. That's one of the things that I did after I got out of the Marine Corps. I wrote a best-selling book. It's one of the biggest book signings they actually had at the Barnes & Noble here in town. Second, I think, only to Harry Potter. But the bottom line is, after that, I became a deputy sheriff here in New Hanover County, where I served for a time actively under Democrat Sheriff Sid Causey, and then I went on to inactive special deputy status. I did some contract and some consulting work to a variety of different organizations. Most recently, I've consulted some different organizations that have developed a nonprofit for wounded warriors. That's where I worked with the film star Kelsey Grammer on a project that benefited wounded warriors for a charity where I received no compensation. But the bottom line is, prior to that, I had worked at Goldman Sachs. You might be familiar to them. I'm getting blasted in commercials by my opponent for my association with them. Of course, I chose to leave after I saw behaviors that were unsavory, and I started my own business. Thank you. I'm just making sure that the gentleman doesn't have any lingering question, although I will say that all of those answers have been on my website had you actually taken